Are you ready?
Yeah.
We will start with the pledge of allegiance. The flag is out back. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will start with the approval of minutes. First on the agenda is the approval of the regular meeting minutes from Tuesday, January 28, 2020. Everybody had a chance to review those minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the regular meeting minutes with the exception of one thing. Spelled my name wrong. Okay, sorry. Anyway.
All right, subject to that.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve. Next is the executive session minutes for Tuesday, January 28, 2020. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from the executive session meeting January 28, 2020 as submitted.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries, thank you. Chairman's report. This is my last meeting, as everybody knows. Well, we'll be electing a new chairman next month in March. Good luck. Next is the financial report. Brian, is there anything on financial report?
I gave him nothing.
There's nothing in there.
Yes, there's nothing in there. So our new CDDA is putting together for the March meeting. If you want to give us updates quarterly.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is old business. We have tables and chairs building.
Yes, this was just asking you to put back on the agenda from last month because we were talking about the future of the table and chairs building since now we know the roof is going to be pretty astronomical to replace. We did do a patch, but that might last only 3 months or maybe a year. So it's going to be an ongoing issue.
Okay, I don't think we have anything specific to talk about tonight.
I was just going to ask the patch is before all this rain. Do we know that
It was like in the middle of all this rain, this week's rain, but yeah, I think this week's rain, we're good, yeah.
next week?
Well, yeah,
Well, first we're going to get some snow.
probably.
And then that'll wait.
We've been tested many times.
Improve the patch.
Not gonna bet on that. All right, so why don't we push tables and chairs out 3 months? Because we need to get a grip on what's going to happen, and I don't see the point in it being on next month's agenda because it'll just be the same conversation, right? So 3
Yeah, I
months.
think that's fair. Yeah.
All right, next item on the agenda is SLX. We have SLX here.
Hey, hello, come on up. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for giving us a moment to give you guys an update on the project. We had some of the members out this week and had a nice tour. I hope everybody liked what they saw. Was pleased with the product. And at this point, I guess we're coming back to see you guys to let you know we're very close to opening the project and delivering the project to the community with all the improvements we promised. Trying to get the final sidewalk connections done along the loan. Now, I don't know if any of you guys ever received phone calls from the neighbors, but I sure have received a few, and I know that everybody that lives on our roads is pretty eager to have us wrapping the construction so that they can enjoy using those sidewalks and enjoy not having the issues that come with construction. So we're very eager to get completed, and in that regard, I wanted to come before you guys tonight. And one issue we're working with planning and zoning, and have been working with for the last several months, for really the last several years, we've been trying to come up with a satisfactory design that will enable us to engineer a shade canopy structure on top of the parking deck that will cover roughly 40% of the parking surface with a cantilever fabric canopy. And when we purchased the precast parking structure, a year before, 6 months or a year before we started the rest of the construction. We had to make a decision early on to lock in the pricing and purchase those materials. And when we did, no one, our designers and our contractor, and we were not aware that we needed to forecast a need for structural embeds in that material to support that structure. And so since that time, we've worked very closely with the canopy, the precast providers who provide a design build solution in the parking deck. So everything within the parking deck is their design. And then we worked with a canopy engineer that was a design build canopy firm that was committed to integrating those two structures and the points of connection. And my architect's here with me. He can speak in probably greater technical detail than I can in terms of some of the challenges that's presented. They've spent countless hours trying to find a way to make it work. And we're still working towards trying to identify a solution that is structurally feasible. But given that we're at this juncture now, we're still working on that. We've got most of our inspections signed off from the city in terms of life safety. I think the pool inspector's coming Thursday. We're cleaning out the parking garage and have it striped, and it'll be inspected. And at that point, pretty much everything but this one issue will be solved in order for us to CO the first phase of the units and have residents living in the building and have the construction on phase one basically wrapped up. So what we would like to do today is, if we could confirm with the DDA that the DDA has no vested interest in the canopy structure itself. What we would like to do is then go before council and see if we could have our design modified to exclude that structure. And what we want to do, I guess the reason we're asking for that modification, we don't want to reduce the cost of the project by any means. We've, I think, originally committed to a certain baskets of goods, in the project. And I think we've exceeded that. There were things that were shown on the tour that were never promised, like, for instance, Ecobee thermostats and salt door locks and numerous improvements. Every chance we had a savings over here, we use it to pack in more good stuff to the project. And so what we would like to do on this issue, rather if we are successful in presenting this issue to council for their consideration and deleting the canopy, we would like to escrow the dollars so that they could be used to something else that would create a community benefit. That could be an enhanced pedestrian connection at Malone. That could be design dollars that could be leveraged into converting the MARTA detention pond into the park that we'd all love to see.
How much money are we talking about?
I believe that our budget has it at roughly $200,000 or $250,000. So it's a good pot of money that could be allocated towards something that could create a community benefit. And from our standpoint, it doesn't, we have 6 levels of covered parking. 40% of the top level doesn't really create a lot of additional covered parking. We have probably more covered parking spaces than we need. And I just, I feel like those dollars could maybe be leveraged better to, forging tighter relationships with the neighborhood, i.e. connections to the park between us and the neighbors, enhanced pedestrian connection across Malone, or anything else that council would think would be a wise use of those funds. We would consider committing those dollars towards. Because again, it's not so much the cost, it's the timing and the community impact. The last thing we want to do is take a step back into the direction of heavy construction, where we're massing a bunch of unsightly materials out by the road and trying to mobilize a crane to to get these, get this this thing retrofitted, and I have no engineering letter confirming this concern, but one concern I have, the community's vested in the project. We're really just stewards for the community's investment, but as a steward of that investment, what it may involve to retrofit the structure to have the structural supports would be coring through 5 or 6 for all levels of the 7-story parking structure, which coring through with structural members and then attaching the canopy. And my concern is that over years of time, there's going to be wind loads, and that's going to create vibrations. And right now, I'm already, on days like today when it's raining, I walk the whole parking structure, and I'm taking pictures of the cracks. Some cracking when these facilities are installed is typical, and what's typically done is that when you have a crack that's being bad enough to warrant attention, they'll route out the cracks and put an epoxy bond in that will seal it to keep water from ingressing through the cracks, because over time that water and those forces will degrade the structure.
So what is it you're taking to council exactly?
Well, what we're taking to council is a deletion of the canopy.
Okay.
And a proposition to redirect the dollars into a community, a fund that could be leveraged towards any types of community improvements that would be deemed worthy of consideration for investment.
Okay. Catherine, does the city have an opinion on this?
From staff's point of view, it's required. You need a variance to get out of that. This is something that was established early on.
But what does that have to do with us?
Well,
Because we condition the design.
Yeah.
the maintenance
We
time,
condition that in the design?
not specifically, but
The
To be
overall
built
package
as,
as spent by council.
Is one of the things.
That's what the MOU says?
Mhm.
So I guess what we.
so I think part of my problem with what you're saying is that you don't see the importance of this canopy. You do see the importance of enhanced security or this or that or the other, but this canopy is something that also speaks very much to the present and the future, i.e., it would be an amenity as well. And for that reason, I don't think that you should, brush it under the carpet and say, but we're doing all these other special things. That was a special thing as well, number one. Number two, for you to go back and retrofit your parking deck would cost a lot more than $200,000 or $250,000, wouldn't it? A lot more.
I'm not sure.
It would. You know.
We have been unable to find a structural engineer that would endorse
And-
any approach.
And what you're talking about, are you talking about a solid roof canopy, or are you
No.
talking about shade sails?
It's basically like fabric. Yes, fabric with a metal member support.
So have you explored putting some sort of a planting system?
We looked at that, and that was,
Gonna have the same wind problems or not?
I'm not sure that, I think that there's even more structural issues, and then you're introducing, water into that again, there's water's not good for the structure, so you'd have to get irrigation. I don't think, that's something we looked at and was deemed less feasible than the approaches we're currently looking at, which would be the fabric cloth.
So, all right, so what we have to decide now is it's going to interfere with the abatement.
From my standpoint, I'm willing to let council decide on that issue.
That seems more like a council decision.
From my standpoint, it's not something that I have a concern about.
That's what the abatement brings, then I'd say let council make the final decision on this.
The abatement, I want to make sure I understand. Dan, the abatement will say, the MOU will say that it's conditioned upon what council says, not what we say.
What the MOU says right now is that there is a requirement for certain project amenities to be a part of the project. There's also a provision for substantial failure that says that if the developer fails to construct, install, and maintain the project in compliance in all material respects with the requirements of this agreement, and the agreement requires the amenities. If the canopy is one of the amenities, it's required. For failure to do that, if it's material, then we can take away the abatement entirely, reduce it however we want to, and then we're satisfied with it restored. Or if we're happy with leaving it to the discretion of council, we're not required to do either.
Well, it seems
Is that
like
considered one of the amendments? That would not be amendments.
it's not a look, that's for sure. But I think it is one of the amendments as part of the plan.
Right,
So-
but I think what you were reading was the amenities list that we attached, which wasn't one of them.
Or if, the other description of the project is mixed-use retail multifamily development, 5-story luxury mixed-use development that is a podium occupied building featuring 3 amenity courtyards, interior structured parking, 20,000 square feet of Class A retail, 4 stories luxury apartments. So the county as such is not listed in there. It would be better, I think, to leave it to council. Because if it's a variance, then the developer either has to do it or get a variance. If he can't get a variance, he has to do it.
I think so long as they're going to escrow the money so that we're still getting the value out of the abatement, then I think that covers our interest.
I could be wrong, but I think it was a condition of approval, not a variance. Subtly different, but it was not a variance. It might have been a condition of approval to give another,
Right.
there's another variance that they asked for that they did, that we gave them this condition of approval. So just make sure you got all the information. That's
Well, either way, it's not going to be up to us to
Correct.
render a decision on whether that condition is going to be met or not met, right? It's the financial part of it is the
Yeah.
same. And I like the idea of the possibility of money being escrowed for something else, the city council can see their way through it.
Yeah.
So the movement really, or the motion would be that there's no DDA interest in the issue and that we would defer to the council for any decision.
Is this even something we're supposed to vote on?
I think so long as the money is escrowed, I think we need to stress that, but that's the only thing that I think we need to stress.
We're not required to do anything unless this is another discrepancy between the description of the project at the beginning and what's actually being done. We shouldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's up to the council.
So the council was there.
So we have your blessing to go,
Well-
council?
I don't know about blessing.
It's not a blessing, but we don't feel that it's within our
It's not within our purview.
Yeah, the DDA's collective net.
Okay, that's all we wanted. Thank you so much, guys.
Something like go and sin no more.
Right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next in new business, we have the political side backflow to prevent installation.
Yes.
Catherine?
So Cape County does annual inspections of backflow devices. The collision site, we don't even have one. So we need to look at it. The quote is for $1,650. So I just need your motion.
Where does that come out of our budget?
It would be building.
Building
improvements.
improvements.
I know we don't have those documents from us, but do we have that?
Yeah.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
there should be, but we budgeted for something.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
That's where the roof leak.
authority.
Yeah.
Patch came from too.
And you need 1,650, not 16,000.
You say
$1,650.
Make sure I was understanding.
Sorry.
You go to it.
All right,
So we need a motion,
motion to approve.
motion to approve the annual backflow company, or that's the name of the company, their quote to install backflow device at cost no greater than $1,650.
Second.
That's $1,650.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Next on the agenda is the board, we have the latest plan documents. Are you presenting? I said Rod is just a minute, so.
I do have, I can't put them up on the screen, I did send them to you all 2 weeks ago or last week. I'm happy to come back up there, but essentially I wanted to bring this back to you guys. It's kind of the last leg before we close on this property, is the fact that we need some substantial design plans. And so Rod sent us what is 50% complete, which is what we consider, we talked to our attorney, and that's considered substantial, and that's what you guys saw. So I wanted to officially bring it before you guys before the closing.
I got one thing to say, Rod.
Yes, ma'am.
Too much information.
Okay.
I tried to read it.
They're heavy documents. I don't have any concern. I looked through it, and I'm pleased with the design. I think it's what we've expected. And yeah, it's looking like a great project.
It's more expensive than anticipated.
Isn't it always? One of my renovation projects.
Until you die and they charge you for that.
I just want to say the city of Shannon has been a pleasure to work with. They're responsive back and forth. And DeKalb County, believe it or not, has been responsive. And we'll have a few issues, I'm sure, as we come across this. And one of them is setback issue, I think. But we're looking forward to getting going here in March.
In March? Is there something we need to approve now?
We don't need a motion. I just wanted to make sure it's on the agenda, so it's officially there.
CDDA is an official website. No, it's not bad. I think it's a
Ronnie, you
something.
I like it a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Well, we may see on Chandler Dunwoody.
All right, last item on the agenda is the trackside annual report. Becky, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so trackside, everyone's supposed to send in their annual report in March. Trackside's kind of overachiever, and they sent one a couple weeks ago. So that's what you see, the last chunk that's in your packet there. You know, it's all tied to jobs. They do have proof of the 75 jobs that they do need. And then my only question is for Dan. When I was looking over the trackside MOU, there's a section where it shows the form of the annual report that they're supposed to use, which they did. And then at the end, in the schedule 4.6-1, there's a conduit report that's referred to.
That can be omitted now, DCA.
It can't, because of DCA. Okay. That was my only question. Other than that, then it's correct. It's good. So just need a motion from the board for that if you guys want to do it.
Motion to accept the annual report as submitted.
Second.
The track side.
One quick question. On the jobs goals, I do not recall, it says the jobs goal was met. Was there a requirement on types of jobs or the median salary on those jobs?
Just that it had to be full-time.
All right, we're okay with that then. Okay, so we need to vote to approve.
We had a motion
Motion,
for Brian.
do we have a second?
Second.
This one, I thought we said it was $75,000 minimum.
I don't think so.
We did.
We're not checking.
I know we talked about it.
I thought we talked about it.
That's what caught my eye.
Give me a second. I don't think so.
But it's one of the jobs put together. Summary of this. It's getting hard to remember them all.
You probably need to do that.
Let's say that to that.
I actually started doing it a couple of years ago. It just got too much. No, their schedule 4.2 contains a standard definition of what a full-time job is. It's based on the DCA requirements. It doesn't have a minimum wage. I don't think we've ever, we can if we want to.
think we talked about it.
We talked
Talked about it.
about it. Must be not.
Okay. Well, that's fine. With that resolved, we've got motion and a second on the table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Second.
All right, next is public comment. Members of the public, this is your opportunity to stand up and make your comments to us, if there's anybody. All right, seeing no public comment, do we have a motion to enter executive session to discuss a real estate transaction?
Motion to enter into executive session to discuss a real estate transaction. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.